Coming up on Fox 4 News at 6.
You might move slower on the hottest day of summer, but paramedics sure don't. The impact of the heat on ambulance crews.
The ridge continues. We'll let you know how long this hot air sticks around.
Students blow off a little steam this summer. We'll show you what it's powering.
From the station that's working for you, you're watching Fox 4 News at 6.
You want to cool them down gradually. You don't want to throw ice on it.
Paramedics keep busy on the hottest day of the summer, the hottest in more than a quarter century. That's first on Fox. Welcome, everybody. I'm Phil Witt. Reaching such hot temperatures is a rarity in Kansas City. Today's high, 107 at KCI Airport, 109 at Downtown Airport, and maybe even hotter where you live. Kansas City last exceeded 107 on August 29, 1984. In August 1984, gas prices were $1.21 a gallon nationally. The #1 song the last time we got that hot was What's Love Got to Do With It by Tina Turner. This extreme heat is dangerous and not many people are loving it. Fox 4's Rob Lowe is live near the plaza to show us what paramedics have been dealing with on this record-setting day. Rob?
Record-setting heat, Phil. The clock behind me now reads 104 at the Country Club Bank Plaza, though that's actually a 5-degree drop from an hour ago. I can tell you, it sure doesn't feel that way. When I was riding with an ambulance crew from Johnson County Medac in Olathe this afternoon, we passed one clock that read a staggering 114 degrees. And inside the ambulance, it was a toasty 84. Paramedics say even when they're not responding to a heat stroke call, heat is often a factor because it exacerbates any underlying issues for people who have high blood pressure, asthma, or heart problems.
If you allow someone to get far enough into that overheating, they can, their body can shut down. Everything just stops functioning as well because you're just so overheated, you're basically cooking inside.
Paramedics say a telltale sign of overheating is when someone stops sweating. That's a bad sign, and it means that person needs to get inside and cool down right away. But paramedics say that does not mean an ice bath. A gradual cool down with water, air conditioning, and maybe an ice pack under the armpits is the safer way to go. We do know of at least one man who was treated for heat exhaustion this afternoon at an Overland Park golf course. Rob Lowe, Fox 4 News, working for you, live near the plaza.
Thank you, Rob. Meantime, the heat is affecting events taking place late in the evening. For example, Independence and Blue Springs both canceled their National Night Out Against Crime events, citing the hot weather. Other national nights out are still scheduled. Carly.
Well, Phil, like you mentioned, we broke that heat record today, and it looks like we're going to be still hot tomorrow, but not nearly as hot as we were today. The excessive heat warning, however, does need to continue through your Wednesday due to the expected high heat index value again. So even though we're going to cool down about 10 degrees, temperatures are still going to feel like they're in the triple digits once you factor in that humidity. Still at 108 downtown, same for Olathe, Lee Summit. Current temperature at the airport 104, same for you in Waverly, 109 in Harrisonville. And the heat index still 111 in downtown Kansas City. Winds running between 10 to 15 miles per hour, and we have a front on the move that will bring relief from the heat for your Wednesday. Highs tomorrow about 10 degrees cooler. We'll take any relief we can get. We'll talk about a little bit bigger drop in our temperatures, though, coming up.
Bring it on, Carly. Thanks. See you in a few minutes. A sad story becomes even more tragic as the husband of a dead 16-year-old is now charged in the murder of another man. St. Clair County, Missouri's prosecutor charged Justin Cannon with second-degree murder in the death of Michael Griggs. Cannon, a military man, had been back in the area for the funeral of his 16-year-old wife, Amber Cannon. Amber Cannon died earlier this month, make that last month, at a motel in Grandview. According to the probable cause statement, Justin Cannon argued with Griggs about Griggs having a relationship with Cannon's wife, Amber. In the excessive heat, firefighters are battling a propane tank fire in Rose Hill near Wichita. Several people got hurt in the afternoon explosion and the fire. Propane tank is on the property of Global Propane Energy. The Missouri Highway Patrol says it's using every resource available to try to locate the body of a trooper believed swept away in floodwaters yesterday in northwest Missouri. Fox 4's Monica Evans joins us near Bigelow, about a 2-hour drive northwest of downtown Kansas City, where the recovery effort is underway. Monica?
Phil, the Missouri Highway Patrol has been searching by boat and air trying to recover the body of 46-year-old trooper Frederick Guthrie Jr. Missouri State Police say Guthrie's vehicle was found about 2 p.m. Monday by other law enforcement officers on patrol. We're told his vehicle was left running with the driver's side door open, but Guthrie was nowhere to be found. Assuming the 17-year veteran of the Water Patrol was swept away, a search began with more than 30 officers rushing to Holt County to help.
With it, being somebody that you work with closely and know well, it's kind of the urgency just kind of hits home to get there as soon as you can.
His personality was just first rate. He was just a prince of a guy. When I knew I'd be working with him, you look forward to it because you knew that it was going to be an enjoyable shift.
This is bad. This went underwater.
On June 28th, Guthrie gave Fox 4 a tour of the homes flooded on Sugar Lake. Guthrie has been missing since 3 p.m. yesterday, along with his K9, Reed. Now the troopers say their hearts and prayers go out to Guthrie's family, and they're hoping to recover his body to give his family some closure and peace. Monica Evans, Fox 4 News, working for you live in Holt County.
Thanks for that, Monica. Another Missouri Highway Patrol trooper has been found dead in Grand Teton National Park in northwest Wyoming. Park rangers believe Corporal Don Ivy fell 2,500 feet to his death over the weekend. Searchers found the 45-year-old's body yesterday after he failed to return from the climb. Ivy had been climbing alone. He'd been with the Highway Patrol for 18 years, working out of Troop D in Springfield. On Capitol Hill, the Senate made quick work of the debt ceiling compromise legislation passed by the House last night, and President Obama signed it. The president spoke at the White House shortly before the signing.
It was a long and contentious debate, and I want to thank the American people for keeping up the pressure on their elected officials to put politics aside and work together for the good of the country.
Now, the legislation calls for $2 trillion in budget cuts over the next 10 years. It also raises the nation's borrowing limit to a point that the U.S. will not reach until after the 2012 election. The president says lawmakers still need to find middle ground on reforming the tax code, adjusting entitlements, and reducing defense spending. A man left from Coney Island, New York on May 14th, and 2,500 miles later, he has arrived in Kansas City.
I shut my life down in Cleveland. I have no house, no car, no furniture. I got rid of most of my clothes. I now live on a bus. That's 84 square feet. It's 7 by 12.
It all started as a mission for Bob Votruba. He wanted to raise awareness about domestic violence and childhood sexual abuse. So he has now devoted his life to traveling the nation on his bicycle to spread his message of kindness to others.
I have the sign on the front of my bike that says, "Boys should never hit girls." I mean, it's a basic lesson I learned as a young boy growing up in a house with 8 sisters and no brothers. You just never hit girls.
Votruba will be busing and biking 8,400 miles across the country between now and Christmas. For more information about his 1 Million Acts of Kindness cause and tour, go to fox4kc.com. You can click Seen on TV. In the heat of the summer, 3 young men are full steam ahead, building a bike that beats the price of gas. As Fox 4's Bob Hess shows us, these friends put their heads together for the sake of ingenuity.
It may not look like much at first glance, but this custom-built bike can reach speeds of 25 miles an hour and runs on steam.
Before I went to high school, I really didn't know anything about engineering, and I couldn't tell you the difference between a nut and a bolt.
A different story only a few years later. The 3 met at Olathe Northwest High School, where they were all part of the aerospace and engineering program. Students are immersed in nearly every major engineering discipline during their 4 years.
Well, we got the steam engine for free from the school. They're getting rid of it.
And the rest is history. Made from a 1973 Yamaha dirt bike, extended using bed rails, and supported using parts from exercise equipment and a lawnmower. The project took about 4 weeks to complete and about $400 from their own pockets.
A lot of Home Depot and a lot of Ace Hardware.
They do use propane to heat up the water. It's their biggest expense. The driver steers and brakes, while the backseater throttles, shifts gears, and is in charge of the fuel. In this case, water.
You don't really feel like you're learning, but you can look back and know that you learned a ton. I'm not sure how well we followed
design process and stuff like that, but it was just a fun summer project.
All thanks to an innovative high school program, giving young, willing minds a jump start on their college educations. Bob Hess, Fox 4 News, working for you in Johnson County, Kansas.
Henry Ford would be proud. Thanks, Bob. The three friends will be leaving around 3 o'clock Wednesday morning to put the bike to the ultimate test, a 100-mile ride to Warsaw, where they will spend their last few days relaxing before heading back to school. What a bad day at a Kansas City credit union, and had nothing to do with the weather, but with what's missing from their facilities. Plus, we'll take you inside a workplace where they don't worry about the temperature outside.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? But don't worry, we have some relief on the way from all of this brutal heat, record-setting heat. We'll detail it after the break. You're watching Fox 4 News at 6.
Copper thieves are at it again. Crooks have stolen copper out of the telephone lines in a neighborhood 3 times in the last 12 days. Fox 4's Tess Koppelman is here to tell us one business that's been affected has had enough. Tess.
Yeah, that's right. Kansas City Credit Union says losing their phone lines for hours at a time is a huge problem. It's happened 3 times in the last 12 days and 7 times in less than a year. Here's the problem area. The crooks just snip the lines and swipe the copper inside. The Kansas City Credit Union on 435 in Eastwood Traffic Way says the problem is without phone lines, they can't process any debit card or ATM transactions. The business lost out on more than 600 debit card transactions just yesterday, and they know it's upsetting to customers.
You know, we had a family that called us yesterday that was in Maine wanting to check into their hotel on a family vacation, couldn't check in. I had a mother that had a screaming baby in the background and called me and said she had $180 worth of groceries in her cart at Walmart. Card wouldn't work.
Clerks also heard about an elderly lady who lived in the neighborhood who fell and couldn't call anyone for help. Anna Townsend says she asked AT&T what more could be done, and they told her to contact City Council and ask for more restrictions on the salvage yards that buy the copper. AT&T tells me they have seen an increase in copper thefts and know how disruptive it is for customers. The company says it is working with police on these crimes. Tess Koppelman, Fox 4 News, working for you.
Thank you, Tess. Thinking about a cool place to go today? Who isn't? Some people just have to go to work. We'll take you inside a business that is downright chilly.
Well, we've cooled down a little bit to 100 degrees at the airport, but a record was set earlier today, and we'll talk about it after the break. You're watching Fox 4 News at 6.